Hi everybody, in this video I would like to talk about the Wim Hof breathing method, which I discovered about 3 years ago, that I still practice, that I love very, very much because it's incredibly beneficial. It really brings your body back into balance. It repulses bacteria, viruses, diseases, and it brings your body, it brings your brain, it brings everything within you into more balance, more energy. It fills your brain with energy. It releases beautiful, beautiful chemicals, and this translates by it feels extremely good, and you brings you more lucidity, it brings you more clarity, it brings you more ideas. Sometimes I do that before, a lecture or something that's important that I have to do that requires me to be at 100% of my capacities. It's amazing. In addition to all the cold exposure that is also very beneficial, but which I'm only started recently to get into, and that's not really the topic of the video. What I'd like to do here is share with you the mistakes I made when I started this breathing method, in order for you not to make them, or if you're tending to make them, maybe to fine tune it in a way that will allow you to do this breathing more correctly and get the full benefits of it more fully. So I discovered it about 3 years ago. I watched the video where Wim explains it. I think I watched it once and then I'm like, I get it, I'll do it. And back then I've been meditating for so many years. So I'm like, meditation is like second nature for me. So mistake number one that I made, breathe in, fully in, the belly first, the lungs second, and then bring the breathing to the brain, and then letting go, breathe out. The mistake number one that is connected with the fact that I wanted to do too well, and with the meditation, having a little bit formatted me, I tended to do the breathing too slowly, really too slowly. And what I'm saying too slowly is about, breath in, breath out, about two of them per minute, which is not smart. And I realized rather quickly that this was not the right way of doing it. But as I started doing it, I'm like, oh my God, it takes 15 minutes to go into 30 breaths, maybe 12 minutes. Maybe it's not, that much, but too slow. And when you do it too slow, it's nice. It feels like you're meditating, but it doesn't have that effect that really fills your body with with that energy, and allows you to bring that energy into your brain and to release those chemicals that feel so good. And so it was nice, but it was like, here I am, I'm meditating. It's okay, but it wasn't extraordinary. And then by watching the video again, I'm like, George, you're too slow. That's not the exercise. That's something else. It's beneficial, but it's something else. So that was my first mistake. Second mistake, Wim says, fully in, you inflate the abdomen, then you inflate the chest, the lungs, and then you go into the head, but go fully in, not completely out. But still you breathe out. And when he said fully in, wanted to do too well, I started breathing from the abdomen and really inflating the abdomen, because I'm used to it. I do breathe from the abdomen when I meditate, so it's easy for me. But I went for it until I couldn't put any more air in my abdomen. I'm like, now it's time to move to the chest and to the lungs. And then I inflated the chest and the lungs so fully that I couldn't fill anymore. And I'm like, now is the turn of the head. Well, you can't, there's no more space for air anymore. You can't bring anything to the head. You can't actually fill the head with air. It's just through the imagination that you imagine that you bring the air up to the head, and it does fill it in a certain way. But what happened is I didn't have any more possibility to breathe in. And so I would force it, and I would feel, it's a little bit uncomfortable. So I would go for 2, 3, 4 breaths. And I'm like, I need to take a break. Or I would go 30. And I'm like, thank God it's over. now I would breathe out and stop my breathing. But as soon as you say, thank God it's over, it means you're not doing it well. Because when you're breathing and you do the breath well, you have to be able to go on. You have to feel like, oh my God, it feels so good. And when you force it, it doesn't feel good. And you have to listen to your body. Your body says something's off, and I realized that was off. Wanting to do too well instead of just, now I'm breathe fully in, but I didn't wait until the belly was completely full before I moved. Just like a wave. It's easy. It's easy. So, in other words, just be easy about it. Don't over try. Don't try to be too good at it. And so I learned that also, and I corrected it rather fast. The other mistake I made was so fully in, breathe out, and he says not all the way out. You have to be able to breathe more out if you want, but don't go there. So breathe out, and what I did, I said, okay, not fully out. I stopped it too early. And so breathe in fully, breathe out, but stop it halfway, and halfway is too short. And you feel it, because then you go back to fully in, and you go halfway out, fully in, halfway out, and you start to feel like you're not running out of breath because you're not actually breathing out. And I corrected that too. And then I was able rather quickly to do it well and to enjoy it and to really get the full benefits from it. But these 3 mistakes, maybe some of you are making them or one of them or partly one of them. Just wanting to do overly well is not beneficial. Just take it easy and just breathe in and enjoy the breath in. Yes, you have to be aware that you're filling the belly and the lungs and the head. That's it. Not fully out, but almost. You have to breathe out, actually. You have to bring the air out enough that you said you actually breathed out. And so once you do that, you get into the feel of it. What happens is you go in, out, in, out. You go 30, you want to continue. It feels so good that you're like, let's go another 10. I do that sometimes. Let's go another 10. Oh my God, you know what? Let's go another 10. I go 50. Then I breathe out, and then I stop my breathing. I block it. And then I go into feeling that I'm allowing. I'm allowing whatever is to be. And the feeling of allowing, sometimes I'm like, allow your blood to run through your veins. You know, that's you don't have to do anything. Just allow whatever is to be. You go into allowing, you feel it, you enjoy it, you allow it to be, you let it be. And then as you do, you can stop your breathing for, I don't go too long. I'll go like 2, or sometimes I go 2.5 minutes. Some people go 4 or 5 minutes. Great for them. I'm not in it's not a competition. And then I bring the air back in, and then I stop it. And here's the thing. This is when the best feeling of the whole thing is. And so he says, squeeze into your brain. There's no real muscle to squeeze, but just imagine that there's some squeezing. The imagination is actually creative. You imagine that you squeeze and you feel that energy in your brain and you feel the buzzing, and it's so nice. So sometimes I go 3 rounds and I'm like, no, I'm not going to stop here. It's too good. I go another round. I do the other round. I'm like, guys, I talk to myself. I say, guys, you can indulge, go for another one. It's too good. And in fact, the good feeling increases. The second time it's better, the third time it's better. Now, after 4, 5, 6 times, it's all great. You're buzzing. You're like, oh my God. You're so full of life, full of energy, that you need nothing in this moment. And the few seconds that it takes, okay, I don't go 20 seconds. I go more like 50 because it feels too good. It's like a gift for me. And you come out of this breathing exercise feeling good, feeling clear, feeling full of energy, feeling like you're, oh my God, you know, what is there to do? I'll do it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And sometimes I do this 3-4 rounds before I have something important to do. Sometimes before I do a video. Sometimes before I go into a public talk or something, or sometimes before I have to anything important. I'm like, okay, let's do that and let's go into it. I'll be ready. I'll be awake. I'll be alive. It's aliveness, guys. The cold water thing, I took it much later. I just started recently doing it, and I adore the benefits of it. But this is not the talk of this video, and I'm far from an expert. I was always somebody who was like too cold too fast. I'm getting there. But the breathing method, guys, I really recommend it. There's so many breathing techniques that are beautifully beneficial. But I wanted to share my mistakes in this one, how I corrected them, and hopefully it can inspire somebody or a few people or more people than a few. And a lot of them will say, I never did those mistakes. It was never a problem for me. And I say, good for you guys. Really good for you. Just sharing. And thank you for listening to me. Thank you for liking the video if you like it. Subscribing if you want to subscribe. Really follow your heart. And I'll see you in the next video.